Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here with some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today's game is going to be between Ziktomini and Sage. This is a Protoss versus Zerg matchup here on the map Daybreak. And we're going to start the game off as always with some player information, beginning up here in the upper right hand spawn position with a green Zerg player who you may have not heard of before, WW Ziktomini. Ziktomini is a British Zerg player who is part of Team Western Wolves. He actually first attended the 2012 DreamHack Open Summer event as a replacement for his teammate Johnny Rico, and there he did quite well, making it as far as the round of 32 group stage, defeating players like Stefano and Bly and taking games off Thorzane and Nertio. That is quite impressive indeed, especially for a player who I personally have never heard of or commentated games of before. I must say, that's really awesome. Now, in terms of a tournament history, he took first place at the WCS United Kingdom Finals, so it was on July 1st of this year. Now, his opponent over here in the lower left-hand spawn position is our yellow Protoss player Sage, who is currently scouting out here with his probe. Sage is a Korean Protoss player from South Korea specifically, and he is known as a very intelligent player who has extensive knowledge of the game, and typically his playstyle relies on scouting out his opponents and responding to what he sees. Now, in terms of his tournament history, he took second place at the Battle of Ministry of Wind, which was on September 2nd of this year. Also took first place on November 16th, very recently, at the Acer StarCraft Challenge. So that's a bit of player information here. Trying to go a little more in-depth for you guys rather than just listing off recent tournament information. Try to give you a little bit of actual player detail. Now, all this info is coming from Team Liquid's Liquipedia. If you're saying, I've heard that before, well, it's probably because you read it pretty much verbatim from Liquipedia. Just going to take some stuff from there just to relay that info for you guys. Definitely check that out, though, if you're into knowing some more detailed information about the pros in StarCraft 2. Liquipedia is going to be the place to go. Sage over here now trying to disrupt the placement here of the hatchery for Ziktomini. Manages to get that through after a little bit of counter harass against the probe. Probe now very low. We've got that spawning pool just about to finish, which Sage will be seeing. There it is. Spawning pool now done, and here come just the queen, actually. No Zerglings in production. There we go. 2 Zerglings now in production. So Sage will want to head out of there just to make sure it doesn't lose his probe. Really no reason to do so. He's got 2 options right now. He can either head back home or just chill out with the probe and use it for secondary scouting a few minutes from now. We'll have to keep an eye on what he decides to do. As we can see over here, Sage is deciding to open up here with a Forge Fast Expand. He's got that Forge now finished. Here comes the cannon, and that's obviously some very nice placement. It's got full coverage here of this entire area covered by that gateway, and we'll probably see that Cyber Core get placed right here. Also, of course, with that Forge Fast Expand comes the expansion and Nexus almost done here for Sage, and he does also have that assimilator started and a second assimilator coming through as well. We do have a third base here for Ziktomini. Now, did he scout this out? Yes, he did. His first Overlord scout that he sent out immediately was able to spot this expansion. He's tucking it away up here. I'm pretty sure that's safe and out of vision. Yes, I do believe so. So he should be all set up there until at least an observer comes out to get vision of the high ground. Or, you know, who knows? Maybe he'll go for some Stargate play and we'll see some Phoenixes up in the air to deal with that as well. Zergling now chasing down this one probe. Probe's trying to make it back home. Now, we do have the other Zergling over here that could potentially cut it off, and he's going to do so. It's going to let him get another shot or two, but I don't think it'll be enough to kill, and not quite enough. The probe is likely to make it back home, and there we go, does make it back home without issue. I guess that's not really the case, though. He was very close to death, but managed to make it back nevertheless. Sage has decided to open up with some level 1 weapon upgrade. This is going to likely lead to us seeing some more gateways and a potential push, either when that's done, or he could go for the level 2 weapon upgrade for a push, or 1-1 with the weapons and armor. We do have the warp gate research now starting again, as you can see, after the level 1 weapons. So actually that may be, with that being said, we might be seeing at least either a 2 weapons or the weapons and armor before push. Again, we'll have to see what he does decide to do exactly with that. Third base now up for Ziktomini, also now coming out with some extractors here. You can see how long he delayed that for the fact that he was trying to save as many minerals as possible to get this base saturated as soon as possible, since he did come out with that early third. Roach Warren is now coming through as well. We've got a Zealot and a Probe making their way across the map. Let's see if he's going to try to do some little bit of aggression here. At least with the Zealot, it's going to keep those Zerglings from getting control of those Zelnaga towers. Try to deny Ziktomini from that little bit of scouting. And we do have another Overlord Scout over here. Love this positioning here for Overlord Scouts. You can see where the army is in relation to these 2 ramps once we do get to that stage of the game. Got a couple of, oh actually never mind, this is a Robo plus the Twilight Council. The presence of the Twilight Council leads me to believe we'll be seeing that level 2 weapon upgrade from Sage. A few Zerglings now making their way out and be forcing that Zealot back. Zerglings also fanning out over here, looking for either pylon placement or hidden probes for secondary scouting. Just we'll be checking all over the place there with those Lings. And that Robo just about to finish here. Is it gonna be... I wonder. I almost think it's a potential here that we might be seeing some Blink Stalker with the 2 weapons. Now there's the weapon, oh, and the armor upgrade because he's got that second forge right there. And he's got a few more gateways coming through as well. And there's the Observer. Metabolic boost now starting over here for Ziktomini. Also a macro hatch. And still just kind of dancing around the map here with all of his units. Carapace level 1 upgrade. Where is it? There it is. For Ziktomini. No weapons upgrade. Also lots of droning going on. You just saw 8 drones in production. He's got some nice saturation taking place over here. Very, very nice indeed. Another Nexus getting placed down over here for Sage. So rather than that 2-base aggression that I anticipated may have happened, Sage is deciding to take a 3rd here right now. Moving out with his Observer Scout. Making his way straight into the main of Ziktomini. Main is on his layer, as we can see there. Also, again, that macro hatch getting close to finish. Metabolic boost, as well as the Roach speed and that Glau reconstitution. And here comes another evolution chamber, allowing for continuous upgrades there. Observer spots the Overlord, moves over with the anti-air and takes care of that. Still got this one tucked away over here. Infestors now coming into play, and some Immortal action. So sticking just with that Gateway mix plus Immortals here is what we'll be seeing from Sage. And again, he's got those continuous upgrades streaming out right now. Just about to finish his 2 weapons and 1 armor, as he has nearly done his 3rd. And we do have a 4th coming out here for Ziktomini. Look at just all the macro. A macro game again, guys. I feel like the past couple of games I've done commentaries for have been macro focused, but not always the worst of things. This is going to lead to some pretty major clashes in the next few minutes as both players start to get their army up. You can see we've got Ziktomini now breaking 100 supply. Sage himself getting close to that as well. Moving forward here with his roaches to try to defend, and here comes the pressure, guys. It's about to take place. Pylon again placed down, takes care of the Overlord Scout right there as well. It's the 2nd that he's lost so far. And here comes the push, trying to move towards his base and force a cancel. Nice force fields, cut off a few of those roaches, forcing Ziktomini to engage as he pushes back with the rest of his forces. And we're going to have that pylon near finish, so we'll be seeing some more warpins. Nice placement of the force fields. We've got more and more speedlings coming to help reinforce. The sentry's low on energy and just enough roaches to push him back, but here comes some more zealots. And another Immortal making its way there, back from the main. Ziktomini really wants to defend this, especially since he's let that hatch go through. It's not like he can cancel and get back some of those resources like he could have a moment ago. He does have a lot of roaches, though. I think he might be okay, as we're going to see some more streaming in of reinforcements with some Zerglings. Those force field placements, though, so impressive. And those Immortals tearing through the roaches, making this very difficult. It's a scary thing, though. Those Immortals start target firing your roaches, you're going to take some massive damage pretty quickly. Also got a Warp Prism joining the fun for a mobile warp-in force, and he's in trouble. This expansion is a goner. He's got a lot of roaches, but here come the Infestors, and this might turn the tide of the battle here. There's the Fungal Growth, going to let the roaches push up, plus that extra damage. We got enough for another Fungal Growth if he deems it necessary. There was another one. Mops it up. So the Infestors pop, and even though he lost this base, is able to defend and stop this push from doing any more damage, at least as of this moment. Perfect timing there. Well, not perfect, but it definitely could have been worse timing for those Infestors. Trying to get away there by lifting off the Immortal, unable to do so, as a Fungal Growth plus a few infested Terrans deny that. Takes care of the pylon, and Ziktomini able to save himself there. That push, had that continued, it would have been really scary if he started to make his way towards that 3rd. Got a lot of reinforcements, Zerglings coming through right now, and all of a sudden Ziktomini got a significant advantage in army size, 75 to 33. That is really scary for Sage, and we've got a counterattack in the works right now. And I want to take a look at the resources lost. They're actually about even. How many workers were killed? Sage only killed 10 workers in that engagement, pushing towards that center base. We have that center hatch being rebuilt. Also, Hive tech coming through, as well as a Spire and that other hatch that is being rebuilt right there. And a lot of drones there to replace the 10 that he lost and then some. Observer Scout here for Sage, sees what's going on. It does look like Ziktomini is deciding to retreat right now. Or at least group up his forces. You know, this is a tough position to engage. You can see that wall that we had here. But all those force fields make this a little bit scary. Force fields in this vicinity in particular. If you get a push out from Sage and he cuts Ziktomini's army in half, that can be really, really scary indeed. We get that blink research now coming through. I guessed that would happen way too early, but it is happening nevertheless, just a little bit later than I had initially thought. And also the 3-2 upgrades being researched. Upgrades for Ziktomini, well, he's at 1-1 right now. Doesn't have any of the ranged upgrades. Also coming out with the 2-2. And here comes the Greater Spire. The Hive is finished, of course. That is necessary for that Greater Spire to be in production. Oh, the Observer. Wish Ziktomini saw this. We'll be coming out with a few spines here, some static defense, also another expansion right on over here. And Warp Prism Harass planned for Sage, making his way towards that main. That Overlord should have seen that. I do believe he saw, yes he did. So he's got that 1 Infestor, 2 Infestors, a couple of Queens, and Zerglings. That should pretty much be enough to defend. Also moving with an Overseer just in case there's DT or any shenanigans. There it is. Quite easily takes care of that fungal growth, allowing the Queens to finish it off. Zealots are a goner as well. Sage grouping up with his forces up there. That's not... didn't really do much for him. It's too funny. Maybe just in case we saw Ziktomini try to push and cut off the retreating War Prism, but again, unfortunately for that War Prism, unable to retreat because of that fungal growth. Sage now sitting in the center of the map here to defend this Nexus. This will be his 4th base. His main getting very close to mined out. Natural still doing pretty well, so is that 3rd. This Natural is getting close to mined out here for Ziktomini. He's got this one, plus this expansion. Again, we have this one building over here in the lower right. And now's the point of the game here where Sage is going to try to split up the forces of Ziktomini by hitting with small little engagements all over the place. Observer scouting out the main. At least that's not a drop, though. And some Zealots going to be chilling out over here. Now we get this Zealot push over here. The rest of the army in this position. Actually a bit surprised that that army isn't near here, although I don't think he would have done all that well pushing on this position anyways, as we've got those Broodlords about to pop. Quite easily takes care of that small group of Zealots that hit to the lower right spot. And here comes the War Prism. So there we go. That's I almost think that's what Sage should have done in the first place. He had those Zealots waiting for that next War Prism. Maybe he should have waited for this, I'm not sure. But had he hit at the same time this main base as well as here, that would have forced Ziktomini to split his forces and potentially would have allowed him to hit the center base position. But again, as we saw, there were a lot of Infestors plus Broodlords over there, and had they stayed there, well, there you go. Alright, Zealots not only getting dropped, but 4 more will be getting warped in as well. They're going straight for that spawning pool, which is now researching the adrenal glands, increasing the attack speed of those lanes. We got Ling reinforcements to deal with this, and a few Zealots now heading in that position. Again, sort of the thing you want to do. The spawning pool is safe, and we do have that War Prism, though, still dancing around, and plus these Zealots hitting over here, getting this down to half health now. 2 spines coming through, and the reinforcements deal with that. Still no push towards the center, though, so he's all set, and another War Prism coming out. Talk about some consistent harass here from Sage. Ziktomini, though, hanging on pretty well. He's been doing a pretty decent job of defending. Let's see another Warpman here. Some Zealots coming through. Lots of Zealots, not just some, to be honest. And a few Zealots streaming their way down to the lower left-hand position. They're going to be dealt with. We got a Warp Prism over here as well, which could just warp in units at any point now. Evolution Chamber gets taken out as he was researching. I believe those were weapons level 3 that he was planning to come out with. Yeah, I'm going to cue that up right there below that. We had the Warp Prism over here. That got dealt with by Corruptors, though. Ziktomini says, you know what, I am done dealing with this headache of Warp Prisms. Another Warp Prism, though, going straight for the main. Now, the spawning pool has finished out adrenal gland research, and here goes Ziktomini. No, never mind. Decides to pull back. Here is the Warp Prism, which he sees. How does he deal with it? There go the Corruptors, Infestors, everything making its way over there and taking opportunity of this moment. Gonna send a few Zealots down to that lower right position. This is a pretty scary drop. He's got the Corruptors to deal with that. There's the force fields, keeping him out though. Oh no, the Zealots and the Sentries going for that Greater Spire, and he's got no way to defend it. The Greater Spire is done because of those force fields. Oh, here come the Broodlings from the Broodlords. He defends it. What? He defends the Greater Spire, just barely. 78 HP left. Here come the Zealots now streaming across the map. Again, trying to go for that lower right position. Spine Crawlers plus Zerglings intercept them, though, and take care of business. So Sage just trying all sorts of fanciness. He was so close to taking that out. And we're going to have a bunch of spines sort of surrounding this Greater Spire to keep it safe in the future. We'd really love to see a Transfuse or two as well, as we do have 2 more Warp Prisms making their way on over. And we expect to see probably the same thing. Go a few Zealots and a couple High Templar storming a few of those drones. These guys over here get dealt with. Broodlords say, no Zealots, you may not do damage to me. One Spine Crawler over here. Might be able to take out that Zealot if the Zealot doesn't turn to focus fire it. Yeah, that is gone. Gonna be warping in right over here. Looks like any warp in the main. We got an Archon trying to come through, and he's gonna do a bit of damage actually to those Lings. That gets dealt with by the Corruptors. We still have the Zealots to handle though. And the one Archon decimates that group of Lings. I was really worried about that just because there's so much splash damage and the Lings weren't able to get us around. So now that Archon is doing work on the spawning pool. Oh my. Zerglings finally able to finish off the Archon after busting through its shield. The Zealots over here are gonna try to take this out, but we do have some defensive Broodlords. Pretty interesting. Do they kill the Zealots fast enough? Yes, they do. Oh, no, they do not. Oh, I really thought that he had that. He didn't. Oh boy, Hatchery gets taken out, so it's gonna force him to rebuild that. And more Warp Prisms. What the hell, Sage, is going on? He says, I don't need an all-out attack. I'm gonna just chill back here with my mothership, and I'm just gonna keep dropping Warp Prisms. He's taking a lot of losses during this time, though. You can see he's actually behind in resources lost, just because it's so expensive to do these drops. Especially if you lose that, you know, you lose the Warp Prism plus all the units in it, you know, it really comes down to how much damage did you do in that drop. If it's not enough, then it's a scary moment. And we got another Greater Spire building right now. Continuous upgrades. Also have the Neural Parasite upgrade for those Infestors. He's sitting on quite a bit of Infestors. 11 Infestors, 24 Broodlords as well. Got a few Blink Stalkers going to attempt to harass. They can quite quickly take this expansion out and then retreat with their Blink. Although we could see Ziktomini just cut off their retreat as well. I think they're going to get this in just a moment. Yeah, look at that. Very quickly forcing the cancel there, doing some damage, and the scary part is that they're so mobile and he's so slow with his Broodlords. It's not Ziktomini's fault. Broodlords are just innately slow. Sage still trying his dropping shenanigans. We got spores all over the place to try to prevent some of this, but here come the High Templars and almost loses it. Manages to push back. Uh-oh. Storming all of that larva. And wow, Zealot warping. Now he took care of the Blink Stalkers down over there, but this is really scary. Few High Templar plus all those Zealots. That Greater Spire is a goner. We still have this one over here though, so he can still produce Broodlords. And now it comes time for the push. Massive push moving to the center of the map now. We do have this mothership back here. Doesn't quite have enough energy though to Vortex yet. And a few infested Terrans plus the rest of his army was able to take out that drop. And now he did lose his Greater Spire, but again we saw that second Greater Spire as backup. So we can still do more Broodlords. And here we go. Here comes the engagement now. Broodlords moving to the center map. He wants to keep these guys nice and spread. He's got so many Broodlords. When a Vortex goes through, though, wants to make sure that all his Broodlords are not clumped up there. There are a lot of Broodlords here. We're going to see a lot of Storms. Trying to do some damage there. Fungal Growth's going down on those Archons. Prevent them from being cloaked, and the mothership is gone. Corruptors take out the mothership, and now this is really scary here for Sage. Sage does not have any counter aggression going on right now. He's going to attempt to do some more Prism Harass again, but this is a scary push because there are 19 Broodlords and 10 Infestors. It's just going to tear through the center base and continue to do work. Wow. I think Sage is done. You know, we've seen so much work from Sage this game, trying all this harass. Now he's got this Zealot bomb going on in the main, also a DT in the mix, and take out that spawning pool to stop Zergling reinforcements. Ziktomini hopefully builds a spawning pool down over here or at the center, or maybe even right on over in this position. We got another War Prism moving over there. So while Ziktomini makes his death march across the map, which, you know, face to face, Sage really couldn't deal with, he says, well, let me try counterattacking and see how much damage I can do. Try to force Ziktomini back. Ziktomini's not going to take the bait, though, as you can see. He says, yeah, you do your counter harass. Let's go ahead and do a little trade-off here and see how things turn out. That's his game plan. Sage says, you know what, I'm going to take the bait, too. And we're just going to push to the center of the map, and let's go for this base trade. It is a base trade. That is what we are seeing right now. And at least as of this point, neither player deciding to retreat to defend. Both players just going to be focusing on their attacks. Sage needs to focus a bit more, though, as he's got some lone zealots not doing anything. Sage definitely has the opportunity to do a lot of damage, but again, he can't just run up to this army and hope to take it out, although he does have another mothership in production. And there's some feedbacks on the infestors, helping evening the score a little bit there for Sage. Ziktomini finally decides to pull back, going to keep a few of his broodlords and also some mining drones over here. I need him to really focus on taking the base out, though, because he is losing his structures very quickly. We got the zealots over there taking care of that. We also got the zealots and DTs over here doing work. He's going to push back with his broodlord, so there we go. Finally deciding to retreat. He could honestly, I think, retreat with just half of them. He's just got so many broodlords. 25 broodlords, my lord. And we'll be trying to come out with a hatchery over here, although big force for Sage. Oh, Ziktomini just kind of, he's so indecisive. He's going one way, then the other way, then one way. Although he has defended a bit over here. Still have this hatchery that is going to get taken out right now, unless he gets the fungal. Didn't get the fungal in time on the DT to lift the cloak. And we can see here Sage has now his other mothership, his second mothership so far this game, cloaking the units, but not quite enough energy at the moment to actually go for a vortex, so he can't do that quite yet. He is getting very close, though. Vortex does cost 100, and that's really what he needs to try to deal with this huge Brewlord force. Brewlord now going straight to work on this upper left expansion, and this is going to be gone in just a matter of seconds. Overseers in the center of the map, Blink Stalkers, deal with them. We do have this expansion still sitting over here. That is a goner. Again, look how quickly those Brewlords take that out. Unbelievable. Blink Stalkers take out the Infestors. That is a problem for Ziktomini. Unfortunately, he doesn't have Burrow either. Without the Burrow, he can't hope to save these right now. There would have been an Observer there anyways, even had he burrowed. And here comes an engage right now. Brewlord's pushing out the backside. Sage decides to turn around to engage. Ziktomini again just, okay, Vortex is down. He's going to just try to keep his forces away from that. And let one or two sit in there, but that is it. And while the Vortex is providing a little bit of a buffer, keeping these Brewlords at bay, he's going to make his push over in this direction. Moving with that mothership as well as all those guys. Now, how many Corruptors do we have in play? Are there still any more? Yes, we get 11 Corruptors. That is enough to take out this mothership. Mothership very vulnerable right now. Just completely out of position. And, oh, he should just go straight for that mothership and then make his push back. If he takes out this army, that is it for Sage. Takes out the mothership. Pulls back with the Corruptors. And then now with the rest of his army is going to make his push towards defending what is left of his base, which is very little. Now he still has this hatch and this hatch over here as well. The main structures in the main will be taken out very quickly, but this is it. This is it for Sage. He's pinned now in a corner with no hope of retreat, and he does not have the means to take this army out. No way, Jose, as they say. Now the Broodlords will mop up the rest of what Sage has, and there is the GG. What a game, what a game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here in this game between Ziktomini and Sage. Ziktomini pulls out the win. What an exciting match here between these two players. Absolutely loved it. Lots of fun to watch, lots of back and forth. You know, we saw that early stage of heavy macro and not a lot of action, but then after that, it was pretty much non-stop. And honestly, that's the kind of thing that I like to see. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you like the content, please subscribe. Stay tuned in the future for more SC2 commentaries, gaming, news, and coverage here on the channel. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.